Hello and welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. That's me, I'm your host, Don Allen III. And today what we're going to be working on here on YouTube is a vector art tutorial. We're going to be using the program Adobe Illustrator, but all the principles, or almost all the principles that you see here, will work for any version of Illustrator, whether that be CS5, CS6, CC 2014, 15, 16, 17, you name it. This is an Adobe Illustrator vector art tutorial. And in particular, we're going to be working on designing a kitchen that we can use as a background set for a customer video. So without further ado, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you. And just here we are, we're on the live stream. So let's jump into our first program of the day. We will start off with Adobe Illustrator CC 2017. Now I haven't updated to 2018 yet because there's a few plugins that I like to use for various programs, and sometimes when they do a new update on their software, the people who make the plugins still need more time to make it compatible. So I won't be taking that chance yet. Okay, this is great. Let's open up a brand new composition. I'm going to open this up as 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels, and I'm going to leave it as an RGB color scale, and we'll hit create. So what we're left with is a big square canvas, and hopefully it's working live on YouTube right now. I just want to check. Yeah, looks like it's working on YouTube. Uh-oh. Prince Via says, hello, you can't see anything on the screen? Uh-oh, that's not good. Sorry about that. Let me just check. I mean, can you see it now? Question mark. Okay, hopefully we can see the live stream, or else we need to end it and redo it. You should be able to see it though. Testing. Yeah, and I see the audio is working. Yeah, I think it's working. I'm not sure. King of the Narwhals, are you able to see the live stream on YouTube? Sometimes I have trouble setting up the cameras, but I think it should be working right now. Sorry for the wait, folks, those who are here joining us on Instagram. Okay, cool. We can see it on YouTube. All right, that's great. Let's get back to it. So we've opened up Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to just switch this out to just regular branding. And we'll go to Window, and we'll arrange this workspace into something like typography or painting or layout. In this case, I'm just going to lay out into essentials, and you can grab any of these boxes whenever you like and move stuff around however you please. I know for my style of work, I use the Align tool quite a bit, and I also use the Pathfinder tool quite a bit. So I usually like to include those in my workspace. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to go Windows, Workspace, and then I'll do Essentials. Oh, no, Windows, Workspace. Let's try Painting. Interesting. Might have messed up my workspace by changing it here. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to need to make a kitchen, and the reason why we have a square canvas is because our customer's video is actually a square video. To give you a sample of what that video is really it's inside of After Effects, and let's see, YouTube is live streaming at faster. Interesting. We can see it. Oh, cool. So it's working on. Yeah, we're live streaming to YouTube right now. Hopefully, yes, we are. I'm on Instagram. Yay! Yeah, it's working. Yay. Okay, so inside of Adobe After Effects, I'm working on this customer, and the customer is a pet food video. I've done a few live streams about this now already, but one thing that they just asked me to add in their video is the background. They wanted to, instead of the background being white, since this particular episode is all about food, they want to have the white background replaced with what they want it to look like, a kitchen. And so we need to make that art. We could find it online, but the thing is, we don't want to pay licensing fees. It's just easier sometimes just to design the art yourself and not have to worry about like licenses and stuff. So the scene is like kind of right here. When it jumps into the camera, they want this scene right here to start off being a kitchen instead. And so that's what we're gonna have to do, and then let's do that. So that's why it's gonna be a square. So here we are, we have our square background, it's blank. I'm gonna start off by just bringing out our rectangle tool. I really wish I could just see all my windows right now. It's really irritating that all of them disappeared. What about reset painting? Or no, let's go essentials, and then we'll reset essentials on our workspace.
And there never will.
Okay, I like this. Now we can go to our windows. The ones I like to have are libraries open. Here's the Pathfinder, so you can find that in your Windows menu. And then there's the Align tool. I think I use these the most. Finally, I totally use our layers panel inside of Illustrator. I live off of the layers panel, so we want to have that visible as well. Artboards, we're only going to need one artboard here, so we can kind of get rid of this. And asset export, I'm not going to be using today, so I will also kind of just close that window, and I'll just expand this out. Here we go. Those are my three favorite. This is like my preferred layout for working in Illustrator. It's a Pathfinder, Align tool, or Align window, and then layers. So we're going to be making a kitchen. So let's start off by just making some shapes. I won't worry too much about color for now, but I will maybe just kind of stick to these kind of beige colors. I don't want the background to be too distracting to the viewer of the video. And let's get rid of the stroke align. So there we go. So we have a rectangle here. This could be anything. But what I'm going to have it do for now is we're going to use this as a as maybe our like a drawer or a cupboard inside of the file. All right, I just gave it a little stroke. We're going to expand the stroke about 2 or 3 pixels. There we go. Next, we're going to grab our pen tool and we're going to draw out some. We need to split up the canvas a little bit. So I'm going to create these lines right about here. It's about the same width, or it is the same width. And we're going to hit escape to close off that vector. And we can now make some copies of this and create evenly spaced drawers or cupboards. So we can grab each one of these. And here's why I love the Align tool. We can grab all of them and if we expand it down, with the Align tool, what we can do is we can, oops, where is it? Show options. There we go. They have this thing called the distribution. And what we can do with the distribution is make sure that it's aligned to the selection. So in this case, I want it to align to the selections of each of these lines. And what we'll do here is we can space them out evenly, like that. So just at the click of a button, they are now spaced out evenly, horizontally speaking. And so we can use this to kind of make some drawers. That's kind of too many drawers. I'm actually going to get rid of 1 or 2 of these since I don't think we need that many drawers in our kitchen. But it's subjective, you know. And this is an okay time to be subjective. I think everyone has kind of different style kitchens, or maybe they don't have a kitchen at all. Oh, thank you, Dusky. Well, to give you a little announcement on that, I actually am going to be starting a Patreon page very soon. And yeah, with the Patreon page, I'll try to make content more regularly. And for those that support me, I'll be giving them like free stuff all the time. Free merchandise, backgrounds for their phones and desktops, consulting, and behind the scenes stuff of projects, access to one of my secret accounts. I have all sorts of stuff planned for my Patreon in the near future. But as of now, it's not. It doesn't exist yet. Okay, cool. So let's go back into Illustrator. We kind of just have this cupboard. I might make it a little bit lighter color, maybe more towards the gray scale. Or that's a little too gray. I don't know if we want a gray kitchen. Maybe we'll make it a little bit closer to an off-white color. And then we'll grab the outline of it and make it maybe a gray, a dark gray. Cool. And then what we'll do from there is, oh, you're watching both on live on Instagram, and that's interesting. Didn't know that was possible on the phone. Okay, and we'll just grab this. Okay, so we got this drawer here. We're gonna take this whole thing and we can convert this into a solid object, or it already is, it's a layer. We're just gonna call this drawer. What I'm also gonna add is the handles for this drawer. So using the same technique we just did a moment ago, I'm gonna make a pen tool mark. And just do something like this. I'm also going to fatten the stroke of this brush so that we are able to see that it has more depth. We want this to look like something that could be opened. So I'm going to expand it from 3 point pixels to 5. Then we're going to change our stroke properties to a round cap. And that does these really convenient roundings of the edges. Gotta love it, you know, gotta love it. We're going to put this in the center here. You notice that I have these pink lines that are snapping to the space of our grid. You might not have that by default, so you want to go to Window. If you want to go to View, Smart Guides. Those are called Smart Guides inside of Adobe Illustrator. And they are so helpful for designing stuff because they allow you to snap things in perfect increments. So you can see right now, like if I'm holding Shift, I'm able to make sure that our artwork is aligned perfectly with itself. Cool. So I'm going to grab these. And yeah, I kind of like where they're placed. You can kind of see that this is like a drawer now. What I'm now going to do with this whole layer is I'm going to actually hold Option and drag the layer panel down. This creates an exact copy of the layer that you have, and now we can have two drawers. Easy as that, right? Pretty cool. Oops, I made one mistake. Let me delete that copy. I'm actually going to redo that one. I'm going to bring this brush stroke right down here. There we go. What I needed to do was grab this whole object and do this thing called join. Oh, let's not do join, that broke it. Instead, let's try just grouping the object together. This way all the layers are in one spot, so if we move any part of it, it's grabbing the whole object. And now that the drawer is all grouped together, we'll use Option or Alt click to copy our layer, and then we can slide it over to the side. And look at that, now we have two drawers, and we can copy it over again, and again, and again, and you can kind of get the idea. This allows us a lot of flexibility and freedom with designing our room. Now what we can do, since we have these drawers set up, we can go into the group and delete certain stuff. So maybe I want this drawer to be slightly larger, right? And I can even move our handle down a little bit further. And maybe with this one we have, maybe these two can be connected. So we can just delete that line and get rid of this. And look at that, now we have like a pretty dynamic floor that we can now stretch and squash together to make more parts of our kitchen. Pretty nifty, right? Cool. Next thing is we need to make a kitchen stove. You know, there's a lot of cooking references in this video, so I'm going to make a brand new layer by clicking this new layer button, and we're just going to draw out a square that's a little bit larger than our drawers, and that's intentional. We want this to kind of pop out, and with it we have it placed right there. I'm going to change the inside color to maybe a dark gray, almost a black. At least growing up I had a drawer that was this gray color, and yeah, okay, cool. Let's kind of focus on this shape now. We'll hit OK, and while we're in this layer we can make more layers. So we can do the create new layer button, right? So that's how we can add layers inside of an existing one. And we need to make the little like window that you would see inside of the stove. So we got to just kind of place a shape like this. If we grab both shapes and use our align objects tool with our selection made, it will align these objects to be centered within themselves, which is super nifty. All right, oops, let me just check on the YouTube comments real quick. It's 10:37. Oh, no worries, Mohammed. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping by. All right, oops, I think I can detach the comments here so that I can see them while I'm working on the vector. So let me go ahead and slide this over. Pop out chat, there we go. Wonderful. And then I can slide this over here, and now we can see the comments while we're working on the live stream. Oops, let me slide this. I want this to snap to that grid here. Okay, maybe we'll just push it all the way to the side. Nothing? All right. Cool. Welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. I'm your host, Don Allen III, and today we are working on making a little vectorized kitchen inside of Adobe Illustrator. And we're just talking about some of the fundamentals about vector art creation in general. It's really fun, and thank you for joining. Okay. Oh no, I lost my Pathfinder tool. Oh, there it is. Cool, I just want to have this all snapped together. Alright, so we got our stove. Inside this stove here, I'm going to make a duplicate of this internal box. So I'm hitting Command C and then Command Shift V, and that pastes an exact replica of itself. And then holding Command, we can kind of shrink this down, and I'll even invert this perhaps to make kind of like a visor around the shape. And then we'll take this outer stroke and just make it a slightly lighter gray, but it'll still be a dark gray. But it'll just be slightly lighter so we can see some better contrast. Cool. Then we need to make the top console for it. So I'm gonna just draw out another rectangle up top right here. Actually, I'll do it in a new layer though, a new sub layer. I have those smart guides turned on so we're able to get it to snap perfectly. Let's reduce the stroke width a bit. Okay. Now that we have our top console, we're going to need to add just a bare rectangle inside as well. Okay. I'm adding another sublayer, or actually I want to add a sublayer underneath this one here. There we go. This time we'll just draw a little rectangle out using our rectangle tool. And I'm going to delete the stroke from it by hitting the none with the stroke option. And then this one, we'll use that same gray that we had inside, or an even lighter one. Cool, so we got that slightly lighter gray. And then we'll flip it. And this can look kind of like a screen, hopefully, that would indicate like stuff about the food. I'm grabbing all the objects again and just doing a center align so that they all are nicely aligned with our object. Okay, cool. Only a few more things really need to be added. One of them being we need to add our stove buttons. So our little buttons on the top. So welcome, for those of you that are joining live on Instagram, I would encourage you to join us over here on the YouTube live stream, where we're making other stuff. These are the knobs that are going to control the temperature of the stove top. Alright, so we got our buttons up there. And might as well just take a couple of these buttons and move them down here as well. Yep. And sometimes stoves have like a bottom drawer or something along those lines. So to make that, I'm just going to draw a line across our shape. Oops. And we're going to make sure that we're in our right layer to do that. So I'm going to go right on top of that rectangle here. And just make a new sublayer and draw a line right across our art. Then using the direct selection, we'll just slide this together and make sure it snaps back on the green. So now we have another drawer, easy peasy. And then we'll make another handle for that drawer. Cool. Now we have a stove. Easy as that. We made a stove here inside of Adobe Illustrator, and we're here live on YouTube, and we'll just go ahead and continue to shrink the shapes to make sure that this looks like a good stove. I think that the dark color is a little too strong though, so I might take that darker color and just crank it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. And then last, I'm going to add little stove top things. So in this case, we could just use a rectangle tool and just draw little blips of shapes. We'll use this darker color as the reference, and we'll take out that. And these can be like the actual stove heaters. And I'll leave a little bit of space above them so that they're not actually touching the stove, they're just above it. But cool, there we go. So now we have a stove and we have some counters for our kitchen. Next, let's add some upper shelves. So I'm gonna go back into this layer, our drawer layer. I'm actually gonna just take the whole thing and use that same technique. We option click to duplicate it, and then we hold shift to slide things and have them align with our tabs. I'm gonna make these drawers a lot larger, and then we're gonna delete most of the drawers because we don't really need all of those drawers. I just need a couple. So I'm gonna delete the top few drawers here. And then we'll take the shape and shrink it down. Okay, let's slide this downwards. Cool, and then we're gonna move this up and we'll just kind of duplicate it a couple of times. This will kind of just go across the top of our scene. Some upper drawers. Nice. Let's put a little vent above our stove. So we'll make a new layer. Actually, we'll just do a new layer. And we'll make sure it's the same kind of color palette as our stove. And I'm just gonna make a little vent here. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab these two corners using our direct selection tool, and then we'll hit S on the keyboard. And with the S on the keyboard, we can taper these two things in to make a nice little trapezoid shape, which will look like a better opening for the vent above the kitchen. Welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. It's a pleasure to have you, Dawood, and we are live streaming to YouTube right now. A vector tutorial on how to use some of the basic features of vector art creation inside of Illustrator. Yeah, cool. So we got a little bit of a vent right there. Nice. Next, what I'll do is I'll add some, maybe a refrigerator might be nice to have in this kitchen, or some bottles or whatever. We need something to cover the tables, so let's make a little bowl. Quick way to make a bowl, let's make a circle. Or we'll grab our ellipse tool and make kind of a wide circle. Then we'll take a square, right, and put it right above this circle here. Then we'll grab both objects using our direct selection tool, and we can use our Pathfinder friend. Where's our Pathfinder? Here it is, and we can do this divide option. And so it just uses the two bits of geometry to slice the sections out of each other, and now we have a little bowl. I'm going to change the color of this. I don't want the bowl to be all gray and boring, so what we'll do is we'll change this to maybe a nice light green, and we'll give it a nice stroke as well, using another color here, maybe just a slightly darker green. And then yeah, so we have like a bowl right here. I might want to take the same shape and copy and paste in place, and then flip that shape upon itself, shrink it down, and we'll bring this shape forward. And then we can do the same thing. We can either just merge these two. So with them selected, we go to our Pathfinder and we click merge. Oh, got rid of the stroke though. So I do want the stroke of this to come back. So let's turn on the stroke controller, and let's give it a slightly dark sage green outline. We'll make it about 3 pixels big. Cool. And I'm just going to make sure this is square with our countertop. Wonderful. We can make a copy of our bowl and even squash it in the other dimension. This could be like cooking ingredients. We can go to our color wheel tool and go to edit and just lock our colors together and slide it to a different color palette. This nice red in our off red color. Oops, we're having a little bit of a stall here. Okay, give it a second to do its thing. Oh no, I hope I didn't just crash Illustrator. Oh my god, it just crashed. No! Hopefully we didn't lose all that. Otherwise, that would be a bummer. So, welcome to the live stream. Let's go ahead and see if we recovered that from our crash. Usually Illustrator is pretty good at recovering. Awesome. So even though we didn't save, we had auto save turned on, and that just saved us. But let's just save it anyway. For our own sanity, we'll call this kitchen. and we'll hit OK. All right, so we got our bowl. I'm just gonna make a copy of this bowl and squash it in this axis. This could be like a cup or something, maybe, who knows? And then we'll go to, yeah, I'll change the color later because I think the color panel might be using too much memory. Cool, so we got some bowls and some cups. We can grab these now and just move them down so that they're pressed nicely against our countertop. I'm also going to delete the bottom drawer. I don't think we need the bottom drawer as much anymore. And maybe we can put a window in that place instead. So just slide this over here. Yeah, so I'm just going to make a window on our frame here. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of expand this out. And yeah, so right now we're live streaming to YouTube. And the link in the bio on my Instagram page can take you straight to the live stream if you want to see it. We're working on using Adobe Illustrator to make vector arts of a kitchen. The kitchen is going to be for a client who wants a kitchen. So we gotta give it to them. All right, cool. So that's like a window maybe to the outdoors. And what's great about this approach is we can just kind of save it as we go here. And we can always add more or subtract from it. Maybe get some like white curtains. All right, so we got the white curtains. Let's go ahead and add a little windowsill here. And yeah, something like that should work fine. Cool, we're gonna just slide this over here. Welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. How you doing, Dawood? Because right now what we're doing is we're live streaming to YouTube, and it's fun. Yeah, we're live streaming to YouTube, and we're using vectors to create some, we're creating like a little kitchen. I'm gonna move this window up a little bit so that we have a little bit more space for the next thing I want to add here. So I'm going to slide the window over to the side. And what I want to add is just one of those things that holds like pots and pans. So I'm going to create a new pot and pan. We'll use this kind of black, dark gray color for like the bottom of the pot. And then for the handle of the pot, we'll just use a pen tool and we'll just draw a straight vertical line coming up. We'll take that stroke of that line and we will actually increase the stroke width and then have it match the inside colors. There we go. So that's like one pot and pan. And we can make a couple of pots and pans. So I'm going to copy this over. And we'll make a just duplicate of it using the option selection tool. And we'll slide our pot and pan over and shrink it. And we can even swap out the colors a little bit just to give it some variation here. And then with this one here, hey, what's up? Yeah, we're doing the interiors for a video, but we're using Adobe Illustrator to make the interior artwork, since it's going to sync up really well with After Effects when we bring this in a minute. Cool, I'm going to take this one and this handle. We're going to just shrink the width of this handle just to create a little bit of variation inside of our Illustrator file. So I have it selected, and we can go to our stroke and we can just reduce it. And I'm also going to slide the starting position up a little bit. There we go. So we got a few different brushes, or sorry, not brushes, a few different utensils here. Next, we're going to add a bar that connects all of these on the back wall behind the pots and pans, so that it creates the effect of when, like, you know, like when in certain kitchens people hang their pots and pans above the they hang it above their countertop of their kitchen. I want to have like a rack of that. We'll have a rack where they can hang their pots and pans. We'll hit OK. Okay, so we got that going for us. I might actually want to take the stroke off of these, so we're just going to go to the stroke and remove it. And then I'm also going to bring these forward in space and move them up so that we can actually just create a crisp cut. Wonderful. Last couple things we'll need to add. Maybe I might want to lower this and actually increase the, or actually I want to lower everything. We're going to grab all of the artwork and slide it down to the floor. That way we can move all this stuff above higher so we can take advantage of the space that we're given in our scene here. There we go. And then I can justify moving this downwards because there's more space now and it won't have as much clutter. I'll even slide it over here to the side a bit. And I just got to think of a few other things that people would have in their kitchen, and we just got to add those, and then we'll move into After Effects. And yeah, I was thinking that maybe you can, these lines from Illustrator, and import it into Cinema and extrude. Yeah, you could totally do that. You can bring all of these into Illustrator and into Cinema 4D, into any program really, and use all this vector data to extrude them. You can create a whole nother world this way. Hello, what's up, Danny Prize? Welcome to the show. Okay, so we got this going for us. Maybe I want to add a few more appliances on top of our counter. And I might actually want to move our bowls to the side over here, move them up a little bit, and perhaps give our counter a nice countertop. So I'll add a new layer, and we'll use the rectangle tool, and we'll just draw on a countertop. Okay. Yeah, just something of like a border so that it just creates a little bit more space. And then we can move our cups and our bowls. We can move them up to align with that line there. Wonderful. And we can take this again, just slide this over to the side. Okay. Yeah, it's looking like a kitchen. Maybe I'll give the outside a little bit less strength. We'll kind of just make the blue a little bit less intense, because I don't want the viewer's eyes to get too distracted by the background, because this is, you got to keep in mind, this is going to be a background for an animation where there's already kind of a lot of stuff happening visually. We don't want them to be distracted when they're viewing it, since that could not be the best use of their time. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. And right now we're working on a live stream inside of YouTube. So if you want to click the link in the bio, it can take you to a live stream where we're working on these vectors here. Making a kitchen. We're making a kitchen. Okay, so we got this here. Yeah, it would be a little messy at first, but might be worth it. If you're thinking about it, I would encourage you to try that out. All right, I'm going to take this window and make a copy of it and slide it over here to the side. And then I'm going to take both sets of windows and slide them over to the side. Just so that it creates, a little bit of stuff up there. Grab those windows and slide them this way. Okay, cool. Let's give a, I think the last thing I want to add is a patterned background, like a wallpaper for this kitchen. Since the customer edits that I got back said that they wanted to not have a white background. So we have the objects now that makes it look like a kitchen, but then the next step that I foresee is that we need to make like a repeating pattern. Excuse me. So what we can do to make a repeating pattern inside of Adobe Illustrator is we first start off by making one instance of that pattern. So if we were going to go for like a nice brick look, maybe like a light green bricks, that like a light sage green brick that is decorating the inside of the room. If we want to do that, we first make the initial brick, right? So let's say that this was the brick. And then what we do with this initial brick is we kind of just make a little sample of what the pattern would look like. So I'm going to just kind of move one up here a little bit, holding Option and Shift, sliding it over to the side, and then bringing that one down. So this could be a potential brick, right? Maybe it's a little bit too dark, so I might go back into this and lighten up both the internal colors of the brick as well as that outer edge. Just moving it up and out towards the grayscale, so it's a little bit less intense. And I'm actually going to grab all 3 of these bricks and reduce their stroke width to about 3 pixels. Cool. We're going to grab all 3 of these, and here's a new function. If you go to Object, Make, where's Make? Do you see the word Make anywhere? Oh, there, or Pattern? Oh, sorry, it's Object, Pattern, and then Make. It will create, if we hit OK to there, it will create a looping pattern of that art that you just made. And it's a live illustration of it. So if we make any change to the initials, like these 2, if we change anything about these, it will affect the entire pattern. So this is a really cool and quick way to make a seamless looping pattern inside of Adobe Illustrator. And so I'm just showing you kind of like a quick example. We made 3 bricks, and now I'm just kind of adjusting the spacing between them. And we'll have a nice looping brick pattern, and it's easy. Maybe we should just take out that one and move this on up. Ooh, I like this brick pattern. And then let's see if we can reduce the padding on the left and right above it. So let's see if we can reduce it. There we go. Cool, just to kind of space this out a little bit. It's a little weird to work with at first, but let's add some pixel spacing. So maybe do 12 pixels, and then we'll do 12 there. There we go. So it's kind of just a little bit of padding between the bricks. And we can even space the bricks out, or we can have them overlap. I might want to bring the bricks in a little bit closer together. It's got so many options. You can make these patterns so quickly. Hello, Caro. And hello, Radik. Welcome to Creativity with DA3 Live. It's a pleasure to see you over here on YouTube. Cool, so we just made a looping pattern. Once you're happy with your pattern, you can go ahead and hit the OK or the Done button. I don't see where mine went though. Oh, there it is. The Done's way up top here, so you can hit Done. And it looks like nothing's changed. But what it did was it made a new swatch with your pattern. So what we can do now is make a layer that goes behind all of our artwork. So we can go over here, make a brand new layer. I'm gonna put this to the very, very back. And I'm gonna draw out a shape. I'm just gonna fill the background. And then we can fill it with our new pattern. Oops. Did I do it? New pattern. Uh-oh. I think I broke it. No. Huh. Let me try that again. We have our pattern here. We have these bricks. I went to Object, Pattern, Make. And with our Pattern Make selected, we go to our new swatches panel. It says a new swatch has been made. I changed this one already, but it looks like I got to redo it. So I'll get rid of that one, move these guys up, and then change our tiling to fit the width, but with a little bit of 12 pixels spacing above and a little bit of 12 pixels on the sides. Cool. Show tiling edge. All right, so it's going to tile like that. Show swatches. Great. This should work. So let me hit Done. Where did it save our pattern though? That's the real question. Before, all we had to do to make the background was draw out the shape in a very light, like loose and general sense, and then it would know that you wanted that to be your background. So let me see if I have the shape drawn and get rid of the edge on this. So we just got the shape, and then if we click our new pattern, sorry about this. The pattern doesn't seem to work right now. I might have to improvise. Oh, there it is. I see what happened. It got applied as our stroke. There we go. There we go. Okay, everything's fixed. So we can go back and hide those bricks, and we can go above these ones and shrink our composition, and we can have this tiling brick background. But to be honest, I think these bricks are a little bit too distracting in our composition. So I'm kind of just I want to experiment with different shapes of them. So here we go, just kind of filling in the space with our brick texture. All right, cool. All right, next I'm gonna actually just drop the opacity of the bricks a lot. Hopefully that kind of makes the background less muddy. So I'm going to drop this down to 25%. And so now we just get these nice little light gray backgrounds. Can you explain more about the mask options? Don't know much about it. Yeah, so the way masking works inside of Illustrator is really cool. What we could do is, if you wanted to create a new mask, what a mask is it allows you to use a single shape as the reference for another layer. So the best example I can give of this would be if, let me make a new artboard real quick so we can have another canvas to draw it on. So I'm just going to move our canvas over here. All right, we got 2 artboards. Oops. All right, and I'm going to delete everything in this artboard here. And so here's how masking works. So let's say we have some art that we made. Let's say that this was our art, right? And we were so happy with this shape. We were like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, right? So I just made this little ugly thing, but let's say that was your art. You would turn all of this into an object, so you can right click on it and call it a group, right? And with this group selected, you can now move any part of this. But let's say you didn't want this entire shape, you just wanted this internal pattern. The way masking works is we could make a circle over here. I'm gonna just make it a different color. We're not gonna see this color in a second, but for now I'll just make it this orange color. And we can use this circle as the shape of which reveals this pattern. So how it works is we can grab this object first and then grab our second object, or it might help if I have it over it first. So we'll grab our first object, grab our second object, and then if we go to Object, Mask, Clipping Mask, and we go to Make, it's now using the circle's geometry to cut out and reveal, like a mask, what part of our art we want. So this is a really cool way for making complicated stuff simplified. So we can now, and if we ever want to, we can move this mask at any point using our direct selection tool. So if I can double click on this mask, for instance, or grab its layer, sorry, we can move this mask and it will reveal different parts of our canvas. Hopefully that helps a little bit, Dawood. I know you had a question about how mask options work. Did that kind of help? So it's almost like this circle is now revealing the layer beneath it, and it's because it's a clipping mask. So you can make like really cool artwork this way. Clipping masks are super helpful for making icons and variations. And then when you're done moving it, you just have this new shape that works however you want it. But yeah, that's how clipping masks work inside of Adobe Illustrator. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Bloop. And I'm also gonna delete this artboard. And let me see, go ahead and hit the delete button. There we go. All right, so yeah, I think we're just about done with this tutorial. This was just kind of a brief overview of how to use how to draw vectors inside of Adobe Illustrator and kind of give a real world example. So I plan to use this as a background for a video now. And that's super easy because we just designed it here in Illustrator. And I guess the last thing we'll finish off with, yay, I'm happy I could help, Dawood. What we'll finish off with then is we will take this image here and save it as an Illustrator file. And I just want to show you what it looks like inside of After Effects. So we can go to Save As. I spelled kitchen wrong, but don't blame me. I can only do so much. So I spelled kitchen wrong, but it's our Illustrator file name. We'll hit Save, and we'll replace what was already there. So we now have this new Illustrator CC file that holds all of this vector data. I hit OK. So with it open, I'm going to go into my After Effects project. Could not paste the mask clipboard. Okay, sorry, that was a random error for After Effects. So this is a video, an animation that we worked on earlier, and the customer wants this background to not be plain white. They want it to be a kitchen. So we can now bring this in. So the way this works is, here's our project panel. Now this isn't supposed to be an After Effects tutorial, but I wanted just to show you a real-world application of how you can use Illustrator and After Effects together. So, oops, let me get that over here. And we'll move this over here as well. Okay, cool. So here's how we do it. We go to our compositions and we hit Command I. or in this case, we can just do File, Import. It's the same thing. We're going to import a single file, and we're going to look for the misspelled kitchen Illustrator file, and there it is. And we hit OK. And it's going to ask, do you want to import this as a composition? Do you want it as footage? In this case, I just want it as footage. I don't plan on animating the background. So we got our kitchen as an Illustrator file, and now inside of After Effects, all we need to do is move it to the very background layer. So right now, this is the current background. This is the white layer, and I'm just turning it off and on so you can see it. So what we can do now is drag this here, and now we have a kitchen background inside of our video, and yeah, that's what it's for. And so now look at that. We're in a kitchen. Isn't that cool? It's so easy. We're in a kitchen now inside of After Effects. And the reason why I like to design my backgrounds in Illustrator is because these backgrounds are actually dynamic backgrounds, meaning if at any point I want to change something in that image, I can go into the Illustrator file. So for example, let's say we wanted to change the bowl and the cups color, which are currently green. We can go into our Illustrator file, select the shapes or whatever, and change our colors. Maybe it's a blue bowl with a dark blue stroke. And maybe the cups here are maybe the same as those, so I'll just pick that color. If we save our Illustrator file, we can go back into After Effects and it's going to update that. Look at that. So now our animation has a new background essentially, with very little work, very little effort. Yeah, so cool. And so they want this scene to be a white background, which they're fine with, but then now we just got to animate the background in, starting right there. So right when the background changes, I'm just going to animate this in. We're going to hit P to bring up our position keyframes, and we'll have the starting position be out of frame. So I'll just slide our background out of here. And then over the course of 5 frames, it will slide our background in. And there you have it. That's a real world example for a real life customer, how you can utilize the Illustrator with After Effects.
Would you eat it as well if the meat has salmonella?
Simple as that. So thank you so much for everything. I think that's about wrapping up the tutorial. This cat is very happy that you all stayed here for my live stream today. I'm going to try to have this cat dance for you, for your kindness, and your patience and your interest in this stuff. Hoping that you could learn stuff. Let me see if this. Yeah. So this cat is so happy that you're here, and their dancing tail and their flopping ears is here to say thank you so much, Radek and Dawood and Carol and King of the Narwhals and Mohammed. Thank you all so much for joining the live stream today. I really do appreciate it. And that's going to be wrapping it up. So that is a close look at how you can make art inside of Adobe Illustrator and how you can bring that artwork into Adobe After Effects. And it's so cool what we can do with technology nowadays. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this vector art tutorial. I really do appreciate it. And as always, have a creative and productive day. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.